Discovered. My journey of heartwarming change after my belongings were unexpectedly hidden away. In the small, bustling town of Maplewood, the air buzzed with anticipation. High school graduation was just around the corner. But for Lisa Thompson, a hardworking single mother juggling 2 jobs, this milestone was heavy with bittersweet memories. She faced not only the excitement of her son's achievement, but the ghosts of her father's land overgrown with weeds, neglected, and slowly turning to ruin. Just then, a sense of dread overcame her as her neighbor, Mrs. Peterson, a woman with a grudge as old as the town itself, made her presence known. "No one wants your clutter, Lisa," Mrs. Peterson shouted from across the street, her words cutting sharper than the kitchen knives Lisa used to prepare meals. With everyone watching, whispers filled the air, thick with judgment and disdain. Lisa felt her heart race. The small victories she fought for were slipping away as Lisa forced a smile. Her thoughts were haunted by memories of her father's laughter and warmth, now buried beneath the weight of his crumbling estate. She felt it, his creativity and resilience pulsing in her veins, urging her to push on. But with every glance at the tattered family photos, her spirit sank. She clung to her father's old baseball glove, a reminder of happier days spent in the backyard, and the coins he would slip into her palm after a good game. But now those tangible connections were fading. She needed to find her late father's keepsakes and memories, things that tied her to him before graduation day. Little did she know, her quest would unveil a tapestry of community spirit that would forever change her life. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As Lisa asked neighbors if they had seen her belongings, a surprising wave of support washed over her. The local war veteran, Mr. Aldridge, offered to help. "You're stronger than all of them combined, Lisa," he said, determination gleaming in his eyes. Lisa felt warmth spread through her chest. The pastor, Reverend Johnson, spoke out about compassion and unity, urging the town to rally behind Lisa. Their words resonated, lifting her spirits even higher. Yet, the shadow of Mrs. Peterson loomed. What was her true motive? As Lisa's search intensified, every clue unveiled more than mere possessions. It brought the community's soul into sharp focus. With each unanswered knock, the whispers grew louder, revealing a town divided by judgment yet hungry for redemption. And an unexpected twist, Lisa stumbled upon a fragment of truth about Mrs. Peterson's past, shrouded in pain and bitterness. The realization hit her like a cold breeze. She had the choice to strike back or extend forgiveness. But what would justice look like, and could she bear its burden? As graduation day approached, Lisa stood at a crossroads, each step echoing with the weight of her decision. With her community watching, she felt the clock ticking, wondering if she could rise above the chaos and inspire a change of heart, not just for herself, but for the entire town. Could one woman's fight for her past be the spark that ignites hope in Maplewood? The path remained uncertain, but as she looked around, Lisa felt the spirit of her father guiding her forward, tempting her heart toward an awakening she never thought possible. As the big day drew closer, the town of Maplewood felt charged with an electricity that Lisa hadn't anticipated. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass, a contrast to the turmoil in her heart. She stood outside her front porch, clutching the baseball glove that brought her so much comfort. It was a lifeline connecting her to memories of laughter, of summer evenings spent with her father, and of promises made. Lisa could hear the distant laughter of children playing in the park, the sounds of celebration echoing through the streets. Her son Mark was about to graduate, and it should have been a day of pure joy. But the thought of Mrs. Peterson's words echoed in her mind, a dark reminder that some in their community were quick to judge, quick to condemn. Determined not to let negativity overshadow the day, Lisa decided to do something bold. She picked up her phone and called Mr. Aldridge. "Do you think the town would come together for a cleanup event at my father's land?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. He didn't hesitate. "Absolutely, Lisa. You have a community behind you. Let us turn that neglected space into something beautiful." With a plan forming, Lisa reached out to her neighbors, one by one, sharing her vision. The reactions were overwhelmingly positive. "I always thought that land could be a lovely park," said Mrs. Blake, a kind-hearted woman from down the street, who had long admired the property but was also afraid to speak up at community meetings for fear of confrontation. As she spoke to more people, Lisa began to feel a spark of hope. The town hadn't turned its back on her. They were hungry for change, just like she was. The next day, she stood before a small crowd gathered at her father's property, surprised by the turnout. There were volunteers of all ages, armed with rakes, shovels, and gloves, ready to revive the land that had meant so much to her family. "Thank you all for being here," Lisa said, her voice wavering with emotion. "This land has been a part of my life. And today we remember what it meant to my father, and what it can be again." As they worked, laughter filled the air. Old friendships bloomed anew and new bonds were forged. Together, they cleared away weeds that had long suffocated the ground. With every pile of brush tossed aside, Lisa felt the weight on her heart begin to lift. But in the midst of all this positivity, a familiar face appeared at the edge of the crowd. It was Mrs. Peterson, her expression unreadable. Curiosity tugged at Lisa's heart. Was this woman here to scoff, to criticize? But instead there was silence. Mrs. Peterson stepped forward, raising her hand to pause the activity. I want to help," she said, her voice softer than Lisa had ever heard. The crowd looked on in surprise, and Lisa felt a mix of relief and confusion. Was this a truce, or merely a desperate plea for redemption? As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over their efforts, Lisa couldn't help but wonder. Could forgiveness take root in the rich soil they were uncovering? And might Mrs. Peterson carry her own burdens of the past, just as Lisa did? With graduation day 2 days away, the questions weighed heavily in the air. What changes lay ahead for Maplewood? Would they finally bridge divides formed over years of misunderstanding? And just as Lisa gathered the courage to step toward Mrs. Peterson, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd. Who would have thought this day could blossom into something so meaningful? But something still felt unfinished. How would Lisa confront her past, and the woman who once embodied it? Lisa took a deep breath, the cheers ringing in her ears as she turned her gaze towards the newly arrived Mrs. Peterson. The tension in her chest was undeniable. Was it really possible for life to weave itself together again after so much had been torn apart? "Thank you for being here," Lisa said, her voice steadying as she approached Mrs. Peterson. The woman stood before her, looking smaller than she remembered, shadows of regret in her eyes. The sun illuminated the lines on her face, each one a testament to the years spent carrying burdens, a silent plea for understanding. "I just wanted to help," Mrs. Peterson admitted, her hands fumbling with the gloves Lisa had handed her. The familiar tension in Lisa's heart forged a connection. Here, in this moment, was the chance to rewrite their shared narrative of animosity into one that could breathe hope. "Your help means a lot," Lisa murmured, carefully gauging the fragile truce between them. "This land, it's more than just dirt. It's about community. It's about starting over." As they began working side by side, rakes crunching through the thick vegetation, an uneasy peace settled. Lisa watched Mrs. Peterson interact with the other volunteers. Uneasy smiles were exchanged, a collective curiosity weaving through the air. It was remarkable, the way they were all coming together, hands dirty but hearts open. Mark joined them, grinning proudly as he tackled a particularly stubborn clump of weeds. "Mom, look how much we've done," he exclaimed, his enthusiasm contagious. The triumph of the day hung vibrantly, challenging any lingering doubts Lisa held close to her chest. "Yeah," Lisa responded, her heart swelling. She glanced at Mark, whose future was so full of promise. "It's beautiful, isn't it? This is about more than us. It's about our future." "Absolutely, Mom," Mark shot back, his eyes shimmering with excitement. "Let us make it the best park ever." As the sun dipped lower on the horizon, transforming the sky into a canvas of oranges and purples, the work began to fill Lisa with sudden recognition. She could see the potential in Mrs. Peterson, a flicker of light breaking through the clouds of judgment. Perhaps the barriers built over time could be dismantled by simple acts of kindness, by matching effort for effort. With every pile of brush cleared, Lisa felt a sense of redemption wash over her. They were creating something new. And just as the last remnants of old undergrowth were tossed aside, A sense of unity sparked among the volunteers. However, when the fading sun illuminated a cluster of tattered letters buried beneath the soil, silence fell. Lisa knelt, heart racing, and brushed the debris away. She recognized the faded ink words of her father, addressed to the town. "Mom," Mark whispered as he crouched beside her. "What is that?" Lisa inhaled sharply. This was a piece of her past, intertwined in the very ground they were digging up. Her heart raced as she began to unfold the yellowed pages. The community had memories buried here, hopes, dreams, aspirations. And then she turned to Mrs. Peterson, eyes wide with realization. We can't just build a park. We need to honor what came before us. Before she could finish, clouds gathered above, a storm threatening to disrupt the moment of discovery. What if the past still holds secrets we aren't ready to face? She thought, her brows knitting together in concern. A gust of wind swirled around them, raising the hairs at the back of Lisa's neck. The sense of urgency grew heavy, pulling at the threads of the day's joy. As she looked around at the faces surrounding her, their hopes resting on her shoulders, she realized there was still much to uncover, both in the land and in their hearts. Tomorrow's graduation will be the beginning of something big, she murmured, a mix of excitement and anxiety rumbling inside her. But what else will we find that could change everything? The wind picked up, tousling Lisa's hair and swaying the trees around them. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down, the way the sky echoed her mixed emotions. Her heart raced with the thrill of rediscovery. Her father's letters were a door to a past that seemed so distant, yet intricately tied to her present. Can we read them? Mark's question was soft, laced with curiosity. Lisa's fingers trembled slightly as she held the fragile pages, aware of the stories hidden within. Let us take a look. She unfolded the letters carefully, trying to preserve their essence, the anticipation building like a drumbeat within her. The first letter was dated decades ago, the familiar script of her father somehow soothing yet heartbreaking. As she read aloud, the words painted vivid images of a community thriving, neighbors sharing dreams, laughter echoing in the spaces where silence now lingered. They were planning something special, she said, emotion thickening her voice. A park that would bring everyone together, a place for hope and memory. The volunteers hovered nearby, catching snippets of the letters. A feeling of togetherness washed over the group, layered with the poignant understanding of loss and the potential for renewal. Was it ever built? Mrs. Peterson asked, her voice trembling. Lisa could see a flicker of regret in her eyes, a shared longing for missed chances. Shaking her head, Lisa felt a bittersweet pang. No. Life took different turns. She looked at Mrs. Peterson, the weight of their past mingling in the air between them. But maybe now isn't too late. The clouds rolled overhead, dark and heavy, but Lisa wouldn't let them dampen the fire that started to ignite within her. This, she gestured to the pile of letters, this is our chance to rise. Each of us carries pieces of the past, mixed with hopes for the future. If we come together, we can turn this plot of land into what we've always wanted. Mark's eyes lit up, like a time capsule. We can put the letters back and tell everyone what this place means to us. That's a beautiful idea, sweetheart, Lisa said, feeling warmth spread through her chest. She turned to the group. Let us not just build a park. Let us honor our history. Let us create a space where every letter, every memory, will thrive in the hearts of future generations. The crowd murmured in agreement, enthusiasm pulsing through their ranks. In that moment, barriers started to crumble. Mrs. Peterson stepped closer, her shoulders relaxing as the tension from earlier seemed to seep away. Let us work on this together, she said softly, her eyes fixed on Lisa. A patch of understanding formed between them, a promise of collaboration, of healing. Yeah, we can do it, Mark shouted, bouncing on his toes, drawing laughter from the group. The storm clouds loomed, but within the circle of volunteers, a warmth began to radiate, stirring hopes for what could be. With renewed vigor, they cleared more undergrowth, the pull of the past spurring them on. But as the sky darkened and a rumble of thunder resonated in the distance, Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was not just outside. That perhaps deeper truths lay waiting to be unraveled. What if our stories are intertwined in ways we never expected? She pondered, glancing back at Mark and the others, her heart beating louder with every thought. Just as prepared as she was to embrace their past, Were they ready to face what shadows it might cast on their future? Suddenly, a flash of lightning lit up the sky, illuminating the area where the letters lay. The storm had arrived, echoing the tempest of emotions within her. What would the unfolding of these stories reveal? And would it strengthen their bond, or test it in ways they couldn't imagine? The rain began to fall, an initial drizzle that quickly turned into a downpour. Lisa felt the cold droplets on her skin, mixing with the heat of her uncertainty. The volunteers moved instinctively, grabbing supplies and helping each other as the weather turned wicked. Yet amidst the chaos they didn't scatter. They huddled together, like a flock of birds seeking shelter. "Let us move the letters under that tree," Lisa yelled over the noise, pointing to the gnarled old oak that stood resolute against the storm. Mark's small hands gripped her arm tightly for a moment, excitement and anxiety battling in his eyes. She leaned down to him, squinting through the rain. "We'll protect them. Come on." With determination they gathered under the tree, the rough bark providing a shield against the falling rain. Lisa laid the letters on the roots, a makeshift altar to the past. The air was charged, a fragile mix of hope and fear swirling in the storm. Maybe this is a sign," Mark said, glancing up at the darkening sky, his youthful voice trembling. "That we're meant to do this, all of us. Together?" Lisa nodded, touched by his faith. "Yes, just like your grandpa wanted. Together." She could see Mrs. Peterson and the others clustering around, forming a protective ring, their faces lit by flashes of lightning and illuminated by the shared warmth of their intentions. The rain kept falling, but they brushed it off. Instead, they began to share their own stories, those that resonated with the letters they now safeguarded. Suddenly, it felt like more than just words on a page. Each letter sparked a personal tale, a piece of history igniting connections between them. Mrs. Peterson stepped forward, her gray hair plastered against her forehead. "When I was young, I remember playing in the fields where that park was supposed to be." Her voice cracked slightly but held the group's attention like a spell. "We believed we could shape our world back then. The dreams we had, we can have those dreams again." Lisa watched as the emotions flooded the faces of the gathered volunteers. What started as sadness morphed into an awakening. She realized it wasn't just her father's words they were rediscovering. It was their own voices. "Let South make this park a reminder of our stories," Lisa suggested, her voice rising over the storm. "Let us create a place of unity, where everyone feels they belong, just like us right now." A small cheer erupted, filling the air forked with the crash of thunder. Even as the storm roared, they stood firm, no longer just individuals but a community coming together in the rain, ready to lift each other, ready to reclaim what they had lost. "Just imagine it," Mark shouted, face beaming with hope. "We could have a bench for every letter. A tree for every story." Suddenly, as if the sky itself were responding to their fervor, the rain lightened to a gentle drizzle, leaving behind a glimmering spark of sunlight just breaking through the clouds. In that moment of clarity, Lisa caught herself thinking, what if this storm was just the beginning? What if they were bound not only by memories but by a fate they had yet to uncover? As they shared laughter and promises, a realization washed over her. There was something deeper at stake, something far more significant than just building a park. But just as she felt certainty wrap around her, an unexpected figure emerged from the shadows by the tree line. Lisa squinted, her heart quickening. Could it be someone from her father's past? A thread of connection yet untangled? With her breath catching in her throat, she felt the pull. Was this person here to help them remember? Or to reignite old wounds? The mystery loomed. The figure stepped forward, half hidden by the tangled branches of the tree. Rain dripped from the brim of a worn hat, and as they drew closer, Lisa gasped. It was an elderly man, his face weathered yet familiar. It struck a chord deep within her, a flicker of recognition from days long past. "Mr. Thompson?" she whispered, barely audible above the fading storm. He had been a close friend of her father's, a voice of reason in the community, a man who had the heart to support the projects Lisa now sought to revive. Yet, shadows of time had obscured their connection. The old man tipped his hat, revealing eyes that sparkled with kindness but also held an ocean of sorrow. "Lisa," he said, his voice raspy but warm, "I heard about your efforts. I couldn't stay away." Suddenly, the energy in the air shifted. The storm might have subsided, But the tempest of emotions crescendoed. Mark's excitement turned into a bubbling curiosity, and the gathered volunteers erupted with questions. "Mr. Thompson, tell us about my dad," Mark exclaimed, bouncing on his heels. "What did he dream of for the park?" Lisa steadied herself, a wave of nostalgia crashing over her. She had spent countless afternoons listening to her father's dreams about that land, the laughter of children, the trees whispering secrets, and benches telling the stories of those who had come before. But now, in the presence of this man, it felt as if a bridge back to those memories had finally formed. Mr. Thompson chuckled softly, brushing away droplets from his old coat. "Your father believed in the magic of gathering spaces. He envisioned a place where stories could intertwine, where the young and old could share laughs and lessons. Every letter you hold, every word written, it's a piece of that dream." Lisa's heart swelled. The letters weren't just remnants of the past, they were a living testament to the hopes her father once held. "But Mr. Thompson," she found herself asking, "why didn't you come sooner? Why did you stay away?" A troubled expression crossed his face as he took a step closer. "Sometimes, when you've lost something like hope, it's hard to face the people you care about. I thought I could leave the past behind, but seeing you here today, it reminds me that love and community don't fade. They simply wait for us to reconnect with them." Each word resonated like a drum, echoing in the hearts of the volunteers. Somehow they all felt it. This was their story too. "Can you help us?" Lisa pressed, her voice firm. "Can you guide us to make this dream real?" Mr. Thompson glanced at the letters, the rain-soaked pages that represented generations of dreams. "I'd be honored," he replied, his eyes lighting up with a fire Lisa hadn't seen before. Around them, the volunteers waited, charged with hope that surged like the final rays of sun breaking through the clouds. Lisa felt the weight of possibility pressing against her heart. They could weave the past with the present, including Mr. Thompson, who might just be the missing piece they needed to build their future. The lightness of their renewed purpose filled the air, but even as excitement bubbled, an undercurrent of apprehension remained. Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was only the tip of the iceberg. As Mr. Thompson began to share tales that echoed with memories, laughter broke out, mingling with the gentle patter of the last drops of rain. Yet beside all that joy, in the back of Lisa's mind, a question lingered. What further secrets from her father's past would this old friend uncover? Maybe more than just stories were waiting to be revealed. And as the sun finally began to shine bright above them, a sense of unease settled in her heart. What if the truth was heavier than the letters they had so carefully safeguarded? Mr. Thompson's stories spilled like the sunlight breaking through the scattered clouds, radiating warmth and igniting passion in everyone around. Lisa felt her heart race as each nostalgia-laden tale reminded her more of her father's gentle spirit and the dreams that once filled their lives. "Remember the old oak?" Mr. Thompson started, his voice brushing against the memories. "Your father planted that tree when you were born. He wanted you to grow up with it, as strong and anchored as he hoped you would be." Mark's eyes sparkled as he leaned closer, eager to glean every detail. "Is it still there? Can we show it to everyone?" Lisa nodded, her mind racing with childhood memories, climbing, laughing, finding refuge among the branches that had seen her dreams blossom. "We can find it together." As they planned their next steps, the chatter of volunteers filled the air, each one ignited by hope and connection. They began to form a plan to restore the park, incorporating her father's wishes. Yet, beneath the surface of this excitement, Lisa felt a gnawing worry. The eager expressions of her friends were bright, but what if the past revealed uncomfortable truths? What if Mr. Thompson's stories led to a reality she wasn't prepared to face? "Let us start with the letters," Mr. Thompson suggested, pulling a weathered envelope from his coat. "These aren't just words. They're pieces of your father's vision." His trembling hand smoothed the paper before him, and everyone leaned in closer, holding their breath. "Your father didn't just dream of the park," he continued, voice soft but firm. "He wished for everyone in this town to feel welcome. He envisioned a community that stood together, no matter the storm. But he also found himself struggling against others who disagreed with his views." The volunteers exchanged glances, and Lisa felt a weight settle over the group. "What did he fight against?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Fear of change," Mr. Thompson answered, his eyes clouded with memory. Some people saw his ideas as a threat rather than a blessing. That fear often keeps people apart, stops them from coming together. Look around you, this is what your father hoped for. A hush fell over the volunteers. Lisa could feel the pulse of doubt rising, throbbing in sync with her uncertainty. The fear of change that had once kept Mr. Thompson away was creeping back into the moment, fear clad in the guise of anxiety for the future. She wondered if she could really create a place of unity when others might resist, when the wounds of the past still stung. Do we know who stood against him? Lisa asked, glancing around at her friends. The question hung in the air, heavy and unyielding. Mr. Thompson took a deep breath. Names may come, but what matters is understanding. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the park as a branch snapped from an old tree, startling everyone. Lisa's heart raced. The suddenness felt like a sign. Things were shifting. Changes were coming, whether they were ready or not. But then she thought of the letters, the carefully preserved promises from her father. What if they held clues to healing? Together we can take those fears and transform them, Lisa said, surprising even herself with the firmness in her voice. We will learn from the letters not just my dad's hopes, but also his battles. But we must be brave. Together. An excited murmur rippled through the group, and Mr. Thompson's proud smile lit up the cloudy day. Just as they moved to discuss the logistics of gathering the letters, Lisa's phone chimed. A message blinked urgently on the screen as if it had been waiting for this very moment. Her breath caught in her throat as she read the words, "We need to talk. You don't know everything about your father's past." And just like that, the calm illusion of reconnection shattered. What was she about to uncover? And could this journey bring her closer to her father or push her further away? The park, once bustling with plans and laughter, now felt thick with tension. Lisa stared at her phone, the message playing on repeat in her mind. You don't know everything about your father's past. It felt like a trap waiting to spring. She scanned her friends' faces, searching for reassurance, but all she saw was curiosity mixed with concern. "What's wrong?" Mark asked, tucking his hands into his pockets, his smile fading. "It's a message," Lisa replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Someone says they need to talk to me about Dad." Mr. Thompson's expression transformed. "That could be very important, Lisa. Your father's past might hold some answers that can help us." Lisa nodded but felt the prick of anxiety gnawing at her. Was she ready to peel back the layers of history? The letters Mr. Thompson mentioned felt like a comforting bridge to her father's spirit. But what if this conversation took her into darker waters? "Maybe we should focus on gathering the letters first," she suggested, trying to keep the group's spirits high. "They might hold great wisdom. We can face this new information together." But inside her a storm brewed. She felt torn between her longing for connection and the fear of the unknown. What more was there to learn? Was her father not the man she imagined but someone painted in shades of gray? "Let us do it," said Jess, her friend with the vibrant energy. "We'll find the letters and get to work on this park. Whatever this person wants, we'll face it together." The group rallied and they spent the afternoon diving into tasks, but Lisa's mind was elsewhere. Every snip of a branch, each laugh that erupted, felt muted to her. She drifted when she should have been present, caught between nostalgia and anxiety as the sun dipped lower, casting golden rays across the park. A sense of urgency gnawed at Lisa. "I need to respond to this message," she finally admitted, stepping away from the crowd. Her heart raced as she typed out a simple reply. "When and where?" Almost instantly, another chime rang in her pocket. "Meet me at the Old Oak. Tomorrow 5 p.m. There are things you'll want to hear." The Old Oak. Her father's tree. Just saying its name in her thoughts sent warmth and trepidation through her. She could envision the gnarled branches stretching toward the sky, standing just as it had when they last visited together. Lisa felt a mix of dread and excitement. She wasn't prepared, but deep down, she understood this meeting was part of her journey. Courage was necessary. Would the tree provide her the grounding she needed over the revelations? "Hey!" Jess's voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her back to the moment. "You good?" With a forced smile, Lisa nodded. "Yeah, I just got something to handle tomorrow." They returned to the group, but Lisa felt herself growing distant again. The excitement was palpable among her friends, but shadows lingered in her mind. With every cheer and plan, Something akin to fear tightened around her heart as the day came to a reluctant close. She couldn't shake off the feeling that everything was about to change. What would she discover? Who would she become if the truth shifted everything she believed? The next day felt like a weight on her shoulders, and the hours crawled by, each tick on the clock pushing her closer to the unknown. As she stood beneath the towering branches of the old oak, waiting for whoever had sent the text, she took a deep breath, determined to meet whatever unfolded. Would this revelation bring her closer to her father's spirit, or would it unveil a past that haunted her? The air was thick with anticipation, and she wasn't sure if she was ready for what lay ahead. Yet, standing under the watchful branches, she felt a flicker of hope. Tomorrow, she thought, would change everything. The wind rustled the leaves above, a gentle whisper that almost felt like her father's voice reassuring her. Lisa stood at the base of the old oak, the familiarity of the tree grounding her as her heart raced with uncertainty. Each passing second felt heavier than the last, as shadows elongated in the evening light. Around her, the park felt increasingly empty, the distant chatter from her friends fading into a muffled echo. She looked around, subconsciously searching for a sign, a clue, but all she found was the peaceful chaos of nature, the leaves dancing under the fading sunlight. Then footsteps approached, breaking her reverie. A figure emerged from the side of the oak, casting a long shadow. It was a woman, her features softened by the light of the setting sun. Lisa's heart quickened. She hadn't expected a stranger. "Lisa." The woman's voice was warm yet uncertain. "Yes," she replied, eyeing the woman up and down, trying to decipher her. "Who are you?" "I'm Emily." There was a weight in her tone, an air of seriousness that reminded Lisa of her father's old friends. "I'm someone who knew your father." Lisa's stomach nodded. "Knew him?" Emily stepped closer, her gaze drifting to the old oak, then back to Lisa. "I saw you here today waiting. I know it must be a lot to take in. But please, I have something important to share." "Why didn't he ever mention you?" Lisa asked, suspicion creeping into her voice. She felt a defensive instinct surge within her, placing a protective wall around the memories of her father she had cherished for so long. "Because your father wanted to protect you," Emily said softly, holding out her hands as if to calm the storm inside Lisa. "There are things you deserve to know about his past, about why he left some things unsaid." The words struck Lisa hard. The prospect of learning secrets about her father felt both enticing and terrifying. Did he know you were coming? The question escaped her lips before she could think. "He did," Emily admitted, her expression solemn. "He was hopeful that one day you would find out the truth. He wanted you to know him completely, but he was frightened of what it could mean for you. The truth, it can be heavy." "In what way?" Lisa asked, her pulse quickening. "There are parts of your father's life he kept hidden, choices he made, paths he walked." Emily's voice dropped, and she glanced around as if the branches themselves were eavesdropping. "But it's not just about the past. It's about understanding him, understanding yourself." Lisa felt the world tilt. Her father, a man she'd seen as a hero, was now painted with shadows. "What do you mean?" "I'm here to help you uncover that truth. But you need to be ready. Some of it will hurt," Emily urged, her eyes pooling with empathy. "I don't know if I want to know," Lisa whispered, her resolve wavering. "But what if knowing could lead to healing?" Emily pressed gently. "There's a future you can create that honors your father while also setting you free." As Emily spoke, Lisa felt a shift within her. Maybe this was more than just a meeting. It was an invitation to grow. Would she dare walk a path towards truth, where everything she thought she knew might unravel? "I need time," she stammered, grappling with her emotions. "Take all the time you need," Emily said, her voice soothing. "I'll be here whenever you're ready to explore. The past can weigh us down, but it can also guide us toward who we're meant to become." Lisa watched as Emily stepped back, her figure merging into the shadows of the trees. The oak stood strong behind her, a silent witness to this flicker of revelation. "What do I do now?" she mused aloud, looking up at the gnarled branches stretched wide overhead. Would the truth free her or bind her tighter to pain? With uncertainty clinging to her heart, she turned away from the oak, ready to embrace whatever choices lay ahead. But deep down, one question remained. What was it that her father had hidden? And would uncovering it truly bring healing or heartbreak? The next morning dawned bright and clear, a strange contrast to the turmoil swirling within Lisa. She felt as if she was teetering on a cliff's edge, ready to plunge into the unknown. Could she really unravel her father's hidden past? Or would it shatter their shared memories of joy? She gathered her courage and headed to the park, meeting with Mr. Thompson and the volunteers who had rallied around her. The laughter of children echoed once more, intertwining with the whispers of hope as they transformed her father's dream into a reality. The letters, now carefully preserved, lay on a table waiting to be shared. "Today is a day of beginnings," Mr. Thompson declared, beaming at the crowd. "Let us breathe life back into this land, just as Lisa's father wished." Lisa's heart warmed at the sight. Each face reflected determination and unity, a tapestry woven with kindness. With trembling hands, she opened the first letter, feeling the weight of her father's dreams spilling out. "As we work today, let us remember what this land was supposed to be," she said, her voice steadying. "A gathering place where we share our joys, our challenges, and our growth together." With each word Lisa read, the crowd leaned in closer, reliving moments from her father's past. Tears glistened in many eyes, memories shared in laughter and sorrow. By honoring him, it also seemed they were also confronting their own stories, buried just beneath the surface. Suddenly, at the back of the gathering, Lisa spotted Mrs. Peterson holding a small spade. She looked older yet somehow lighter, her brows unfurrowed. "I've reflected a lot about things, Lisa," she spoke up, her voice warm and earnest. "Your father loved this community and we should too. It's time to embrace it." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Lisa's heart swelled. This was what she had longed for: healing, forgiveness, and a sense of togetherness. With a nod, Lisa motioned for Mrs. Peterson to join her at the front. "Let us show that there is strength in unity," Lisa said, her heart racing. "We can work together and celebrate our past while creating the future." As they began planting flowers, laughter filled the air, echoes of rejuvenation threading through old memories and new connections. Mark jumped in with enthusiasm, helping to arrange the seedlings alongside neighbors. Young and old, the afternoon melted away, and as the sun began to dip beneath the horizon, Lisa felt a wave of gratitude washing over her. They had not only cleared weeds but also transformed the very fabric of their community. As the day closed, Mr. Thompson gathered everyone around the old oak, under the inviting shade of its gnarled branches. "Let us share one good memory about your father. Let us celebrate the man who loved this place so dearly." One by one, stories flowed like a river, tales of laughter and kindness, creating a powerful bond. It was a legacy of hope that hovered in the twilight. Finally, with the crowd still buzzing, Lisa stood before them, her heart nearly bursting. "Tomorrow I will meet Emily again. I need to find out the truth about my father. And once I do, I promise to share it with all of you. Together we will navigate this journey." Eyes glinted with understanding and empathy, as they grasped that Lisa's path was not one she had to walk alone. The intoxication of new friendships filled her with warmth, and even Mrs. Peterson approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You have our support, Lisa," she said softly. "I'll do my best," Lisa replied, her determination mingling with fear, a cocktail of emotions swirling within her. "But I know the truth will set us all free." As she left the park that evening, she glanced back at the old oak, a symbol of unity now. That tree, heavy with memories, stood as a reminder of her father's hopes but also representing her own journey. Tomorrow held unknowns, but along with Emily, Lisa felt surrounded by friends, carrying stories that would lead them into the light. The next day, standing beneath the old oak, Lisa took a steadying breath. She was ready to embrace the truth. And no matter what she found, she knew the power of community could weather any storm. As she stepped forward, the sun rose higher, reflecting the unyielding spirit of Maplewood, a town learning to cherish its past while celebrating its shared future. Life was about to change, and Lisa was prepared to embrace it with open arms. This was just the beginning. Now you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow together. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Only true fans understand how important it is to uplift one another.